A new market cap record. Yeah, there's money out there to be made. 18 days away from what? Well, we're going to get into it. Big time stats that are going to tell you what crypto's going to look like pumping or dumping. XLM price action.
Due to the graphic nature of this program, listener discretion is advised.
At the end. But before we get into the juicy crypto news, that's right, because there's big money out there. New all-time high market cap records being broken. October finish. It's possible. Michael Wentworth starts us off. That's right. Your comments come first. Hot, spicy, naughty, relevant. Maybe I'll show it at the beginning of the next video. Yeah, you, the viewer, you matter most. Michael Wentworth says, I freaking love the fact that you tell it exactly how it is. You're exactly right. Trump versus Kamala. Trump's everything. Yeah, don't get me wrong. Like the BRICS summit's big and all that stuff. But honestly, U.S. politics just like shakes the whole world. And I hate it. I really wish the U.S. did not have that big of an impact. Ooh, Straight Shotgun says, Sundays are for 60-mile rides on the old bicycle. Dude, I got a bike I love. I also got another bike that I'm still building. Seriously, been dragging my feet. I need to get it done. It's my carbon road bike. Trick hanging out with us is, so basically, we ain't getting a Lambo. We ain't going to the moon. We're all going to IKEA. Let's go. Dude, I would go to IKEA. It always smells really good, like that whole like cinnamon bun thing that they make there. I like that. He says, I've never seen a bubble that doesn't burst. Hold on tight. Yeah, I'm kind of wondering about that too, because think about the whole Bitcoin thing with Sailor, BlackRock, all the ETFs. If you think of BTC as a speculative asset, right, like a bubble that can burst, and we've seen it. We've seen the oil bubble burst before. You know gold's going to pop sooner or later, right? What happens to the cryptos? What happens to the companies? What happens to MicroStrategy when the BTC price comes down for another correction? Because we know it's super volatile, right? I mean, does that then start wiping out traditional finance markets? Crypto's big, which is good, but there's still some risk. Now, 18 days away. Yeah, I teased at it. And I know 18 days, you're thinking election. No. That's 16 days away. 18 days and 2 hours away is the Fed's next decision. And remember, when the Fed makes a move regarding rates, a bunch of countries do exactly the same thing. Now, here's the deal. About a 10% chance that he's going to pause. Now, mind you, this is after the election. This is after the votes are cast, so this won't have any effect on the election, but it'll have massive effect on crypto. 10% chance they're going to pause. 90% chance that we're going to get a measly 25 basis point hit. You do have one more contract at the end of this year. That's the 18th of December. Could it be a Merry Christmas? It's possible. You just got to be nice to Santa Claus and maybe he'll bring you good news. The data that you need to pay attention to with this, okay, is this line right here, okay? This is the 425, 450 line, which would mean a 50 basis point cut, okay? 1 month ago, about 50% of those in the know that make the juice on this action said, yo, we're going to have that 50 basis cut point. That now is 0%. So to have a big cut and then like, a 50, nope. Just going to get a 25. Let's round out some more stats, and then we're going to get into juicy news. Okay, presidential election, all right? There's some weird stuff that's going on here, and part of it has to do with regs. You want juicy regs that doesn't screw up the world? You want Gary Gensler and the SEC to be out? Well, guess what? You're going to need some things to happen. Republican sweep is gaining some traction. Democratic sweep is losing traction, okay? I like following the trend lines, okay? Red is Republican sweep, blue is Democratic sweep. So look at this. Right? Blue was gaining a bit right here, and then all of a sudden the separation occurred with, look at that, 42% Republican sweep. You got Democratic president, Republican Senate, Democratic House, 24%. That means nothing would get done. A Democratic sweep, there you go, a lot would get done. Would you like it? Half the percent of the population would, half the percent wouldn't. And a Republican president, Republican Senate, and Democratic House is the bottom at 14%. What about presidential chance? Look at this. Over the last several weeks, okay, we've seen Trump pull away quite heavily from Kamala Harris, but they still have Kamala Harris winning the popular vote. And you're like, well, how does that happen? Big city voting, all right? I grew up in Illinois, Chicago suburb. These big cities just hold big chunks of votes. I mean, millions and millions and millions of votes. And think of all the big cities out there. Your New Yorks, your LA, your Chicagos, your Milwaukee. Like, you get my point? Like, big cities, man. And they mostly vote Democratic. So that's where you're getting the data of Kamala's going to win the popular vote, but Trump is going to win the Electoral College. Now, live streaming it, I think we're going to have to do it. Comment down below if you want some election live stream coverage with, good banter, good commentary, good just the tip action. This you got to hear about. What's next for BTC amid the European Central Bank's declaration of war on Bitcoin? Yeah, there was a paper that came out that really kind of raised some eyebrows. And this goes with Trick, okay? This goes with Trick talking about, I've never seen a bubble that hasn't burst. Well, what about BTC? However, the European Central Bank gives no signals of intention to buy BTC at any point. Instead, this paper, written by Ulrich Binzel and Jürgen Schaff, probably related to me, come on now, my name's Klaus, raises harsh economic criticism of BTC's value proposition, even considering a bullish scenario where BTC price rises continuously, despite what contrarian analysts believe is a speculative bubble. See, I do bring the comments up that are naughty, relevant, and spicy. Analyzing it further, Turd Demester called the recent paper a true declaration of war with potential negative consequences. The long-term BTC analysts believe it can fuel more harmful measures against BTC as investment in Europe. Now, what this all comes down to is all about like control of money. See, if you are investing in crypto, not necessarily BTC, it could be any crypto, guess what you're not investing in? Right? Your own country's stuff. Maybe your own country's stock market. Maybe your own country's bond market. Maybe your banks, right? You're not leaving cash in banks. And that's what they're afraid of. They're like, hey, look, the more investment that there is in crypto, the less investment there is in traditional finance products. And these governments, these central banks, right, they're all afraid of crypto's power taking that away. Now, I will tell you this, though. Should we have full faith and trust in our own central banks, Federal Reserves and stuff like that? Should we? No. That's putting all your eggs in one basket, right? I mean, think of how many governments that have fallen just in the last 20, 30 years. It's a lot. Think of how many currencies have gotten wrecked over the last 20, 30 years. Think of how many countries have gotten wrecked by inflation over the last 20 to 30 years. It's a ton of them. So should you be putting all your eggs in one governmental basket? I mean, should you just be sucking on one teat? No. Sometimes two is good. Two is actually better. And that's where, like, you're going to see this fight. You're going to see this fight where these traditional finance people are like, yo, crypto, bubble, Ponzi, bad. But traditional finance is good, even though traditional finance prints money out of thin air. Traditional finance puts tons of families in debt. Traditional finance is also used very heavily for money laundering. So in essence, they just want you to have clean money to launder their dirty money. Okay, I don't want to get started. My point, though, is, honestly, everyone, you're going to hear a lot of negativity about crypto, and it's just taking power away from these centralized governments. That's why I get afraid when I start reading things about BlackRock and Michael Saylor owning lots of BTC, because then I'm thinking, well, wait a minute. Now that's centralized ownership of BTC. So if MicroStrategy, Michael Saylor, BlackRock, they decide to start selling their BTC, guess what happens? The whole market takes a shit. That's not good. Too centralized. Now let's talk about all-time highs. All right, this is juicy. This tells you that there's money on the sideline waiting to play. They just want the juicy action, okay? Tether's USDT stablecoin eclipses $120 billion market cap. Holy crap. As demand grows, it's pushing the stablecoin's market cap to a new all-time high. Tether's USDT, the world's largest stablecoin, and with tons of action. And I think Ripple's doing a stablecoin too, right? RLUSD. They're doing it because there's big money in stablecoins. By the way, USDC market cap falling. PayPal's PYUSD market cap falling. Tether's climbing. With over a decade of existence, USDT has become a popular stablecoin for plumbing in the digital asset market. Tether's 10th anniversary document claiming that USDC's role has evolved beyond providing liquidity for crypto trading and lending. Brazil, Argentina, and other developing countries can use it for international remittances. Interesting. Very interesting. I like this because market cap is really showing you, again, that there is some trust building in crypto, right? It's not just your BTC, but we're seeing a lot of love for USDT, USDC, and so forth. So you're going to see a continuous fight between central banks and crypto action. Now, if you want to check this out along with all my other articles in this video, it's all linked to everyone in the description below. Now let's get to that XLM price action. Okay, so when it comes to like cryptos and market cap and all this kind of stuff, it is about volume. It's about movement. It's about just action, right? Now, when you look at the volume of XLM, it has been very, very poor. In fact, when you zoom out, you can see over here, right? Volumes, 33 million, 58 million, 49 million, 37 million, 32, 31. You zoom back just a little bit, 127, 200 million, 81, 123, 131, 259. So really, volume has fallen off quite a bit for XLM. In fact, one of the things that we've noticed, and let's go to those candlesticks to see what I'm talking about. We're going to go on the 1 day mark here, is XLM has really, really been struggling to hold north at 10 cents. And this has been a while going now. When you zoom back and you're like, dude, these moves are right around 10, 11, 12 cents. We're talking May of 2022. You're talking 2.5 years of action where we haven't gotten much. In fact, the last time we touched 20 cents, all right, you're going to love this. The last time we touched 20 cents was what, everyone? Did we touch it with Torres? No, we didn't. No, we didn't. It was 1977. The last time we touched 20 cents was all the way back in April of 2022. Dev News isn't pushing XLM price anywhere. When it comes to usage, adoption, utility, the volume is shrinking, so you can't tell me that there's more usage, adoption, and utility. It's been a hard one. And the big problem XLM is having right now is even short-term money doesn't want to play it, because when you zoom out, you don't see any juicy pumps and dumps here. And that keeps the short-term money. And people are going to be like, bro, this is a long-term play. Well, for a long-term, 2.5 years, you haven't done shit price-wise. So during that 2.5 years, what else has moved hot? What else has moved? Casp has made a better move. Sweez made a hell of a move. Tons made a better move. Renders made a better move. There's a whole bunch of them out there. BNB's over 600 right now. Sol's made it. I mean, like, everything else has made a better move. Markets are sticking with what's hot, juicy, and relevant. Now, you contrast Stellar's volume, XLM's volume of 30 million, which on weekends it's slow. Just always think that. Weekends are always slow. To XRP's 637. So 20x the volume difference more for XRP. So no wonder more people want to launch products. By the way, there are 2 XRP ETFs that have been filed. Will the SEC approve it? Let's be honest here. I think they want the case to be over with first, right? Now, there's also another XRP ETF product where like 1.8% of that product is XRP. The rest of it is like BTC, ETH, and I believe some Solana and stuff like that. So is the SEC going to shoot that one down at 1.7%? So there's a lot going on with it. And you're going to see more companies want to list XRP products, derivatives, etc. XLM, you're going to have a hard time with that because you're not seeing the volume. And when you want to keep launching products, when you want to stay relevant, guess what? You got to have the volume. When you go to the market caps, all right, of cryptos, remember, XLM used to be in the top 10. XRP is still in the top 10 at number 7. You have to scroll all the way down to 32 to find XLM. That's not good. For the year, down 26%. Most of these here are green in the right-hand column. It's something you got to pay attention to. Now, in terms of XRP price, look, I don't expect anything big to happen until we get the election and until we get some juicier rates, because it's still way too risky for a lot of players to play with. That's why you're seeing stablecoin market caps hit all-time highs as USDT and PYUSD is falling while Tether is gaining. All right. You're seeing more money being put on the sideline cash-wise because we're unsure on what direction we're going to go with the presidential election, along with the balance of power, which helps with regs. The Fed, yes, the crypto market has been very optimistic in its expectations of the Fed, but might be a little dry the rest of this year. A quarter is still good. It's better than nothing, right? In terms of volume, weekends are slow. We know that. It's what's happened since the ETFs have taken a grasp on crypto. But that also means that there's more centralization of crypto. And there's 2 different bubbles. You got a speculative bubble, and you also got an ownership bubble. And if the majority of crypto is owned by centralized entities, isn't that just then like the stock market and stuff like that, where they kind of screw with everyone too? And we don't want that for crypto, do we? Or do we want more centralized ownership of crypto? I mean, if it brings juicy price action, let's be real here. Sometimes it's okay to ride the coattails of the bigs if it gets you across the finish line. But then you worry about those bigs and if they dump in. I mean, could you imagine what would happen to the crypto market if Saylor one of these days is like, yo, I found a new BTC. I found a new financial answer. And he's like, I'm going to start taking my BTC and parlaying it into that action. The markets would just shit themselves. And pop goes about, I would snap my fingers, but I burnt my finger. So I can't snap it. It's like I got a blister. I can't do it. It feels weird. It hurts. So that speculative bubble and the ownership bubble can both pop. Because again, if you're looking at this whole crypto thing and you're like, yo, we've got 20,000 active wallets a day. You're like, dude, this fucking sucks. And what if the majority of those active wallets are big money, big wallets? Then you're like, oh, this really, really sucks. Centralization of ownership, speculation without adoption. But you're seeing certain products like USDT. You're seeing pumps and dumps within individual cryptos where people want to get into. The USDT thing is very interesting because a lot of people poo-pooed it. A lot of people said, oh, bro, USDT is crashing. Those are just those morons out there. No, more people are flocking into USDT globally as by their new all-time high market cap. $120 billion freaking dollars. There's a ton of volume with USDT. That's why Ripple's getting in the stablecoin market. USDC, PYUSD, they're having trouble keeping the market cap, which means more people are withdrawing. And if they're withdrawing, they don't have trust or they're finding something juicy elsewhere. And if they're finding something juicy elsewhere, guess what happens? More money goes there and more volume goes there. That's why I'm comparing XRP and XLM a lot, because they're both about moving money. They both were in that top 10. And yet one of them is like heavily shrunk down and the volume shrinking down even worse. By the way, XLM's volume, all right, market cap first was like 32nd. Their volume is like 110th. It is like really, really low. Horribly low. Not juicy. Is it fun to bring up not juicy news? No, because trust me, the channel would do better if I always brought juicy news, but I got to bring you the news whether it's good or bad, happy or sad. In terms of the Fed, I mean, let's be real here. Next 12 to 18 months, rates are going to be coming down quite a bit. It's going to make homes more affordable. It's going to make cars more affordable. Business expansion. Venture capital is going to want to get back into things because it's not as expensive. Those are all great things for the crypto market because retail fuels crypto. And if retail has more money, more disposable income, then guess what you could do? You could buy more crypto. So, yeah, the flow of money, politics staying hot and relevant. So keep those comments coming because, oh, trust me, they're hot, relevant, naughty, and spicy. And I do share them at the beginning of the every video. By the way, big thank you to channel members out there. I'm going to have the channel members listed up on the screen right now. Thank you so much for your support. And as always, choo-choo bitches.